Leo.
Hi.
Hey, everybody. It's Maria from What's the Story with Maria. How's it going? Good to be here. Good to see you. We're so glad that you made the trip on Facebook. If you're watching us on YouTube, that's fantastic too. We run live every Tuesday from 9 to 10 Eastern. We run live on my Facebook page, What's the Story with Maria's Facebook page, and Leo Rodriguez's Facebook page. And Leo has set it up so that it runs live on our YouTube page as well. And Leo, we have some special guests tonight, don't we?
Oh, we do. We do. Should we do our little musical interlude for them?
Do it, Leo.
Okay, I feel like we're cheating them if we don't.
No, we gotta.
I know that I'm exactly who I was meant to be. I'm a big fish in a small pond. Got my days free and the nights long. I create my own reality. Who I am is fine with me. As famous as I wanna be. Who I am is fine with me. It's who I am.
I got one of those.
Oh my goodness. So hi everybody. We're back. Leo has created another wonderful promo for us. Thank you, Leo Rodriguez. Leo Rodriguez. You should be saying that every day in your homes. Okay, Leo, let's talk quickly about our merchandise, and I want to get to our guests as soon as we can. So let me see, make sure it's running on my Facebook page.
Oh, it is.
It is beautiful.
All my pop-up alerts, because if you popped in and subscribed to any of your stuff, my YouTube came up. My
Fantastic.
Facebook came up.
There we are. Okay. Okay, beautiful. Okay, so Mario Davila, Connor Weiss, and Chris Thomas Vincent are watching, as is Ed Kutu from Blade Salon in Rocky Hill, Connecticut. Eddie runs the ship out there. Hi, my love. Eddie was on our show a couple of weeks ago. He was wonderful. Go and get your hair did in Rocky Hill, Connecticut. What, Leo?
You just had a stream of handsomeness when you just said all those names.
I know, and it really is a stream of handsome. And Rich. Oh wait, to add to it, Richard Skipper says hello.
There's a hunky looking.
There's a delicious. We attract the most adorable people to this show, so we are so glad you're here. We have What were we going to say, Leo?
Since they're all so adorable. You know,
oh, right.
We do have a calendar to come up.
Right. Let's start with our piece de resistance, as we like to say. So we have merchandise for the show, as do many shows. Our most valuable, because it flies off the shelves, piece of merchandise is our blue apron. It says, "Go ahead, keep eating. What's the story with Maria?" It's $25. We will ship it right out to you. It's a really good deal because you can wash it and wash it and wash it, and it keeps its color. And it's great if you like to cook, which God knows Leo and I both love to cook.
There's chicken in the oven as we speak.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's exciting. So our tote bag, $10. What's the story with Maria? On the other side, go ahead, keep eating. Flip it around. There you go. Look at that. And that's a $10 bag. What can you get for $10? Half a lap dance, I always say, one leg.
No rehearsal in that. There was no rehearsal.
No, I know. We don't have to, Leo. We have this down now. And then, of course, our mug. There it is. What's the story with Maria? Go ahead, keep eating. That's also $10. This is a little heavier with the shipping. You got to pay a little more shipping. But these are great little items. If you want them, let us know, and we'll send them out to you. You can either text me, email me, or you can email us at what'sthestorywithmaria@gmail.com. Then Leo gets it and alerts me immediately.
I do. It's fun when we get those orders.
Fantastic. Richard is so cute. He goes, "Maria, I want to celebrate you." Richard, as I celebrate you. I've lost 30 pounds. Wow, Richard, that's incredible. Good for you, honey. I know we all got fat in COVID. I'm telling you, I got fat in COVID, but then I went on the keto and lost weight. Although I'm off the keto this week because I just, I did a couple of things.
There's our weather.
I had fun. I went to Florida and visited with Catherine Salvio. It was her birthday. Happy birthday, Catherine Salvio. So, there's always good food with Catherine Salvio and Lisa Sandler. They're amazing cooks. So I went out there and had fun with them.
I saw a picture. There was something that was like yellowish with
oh my God, arroz con pollo. Arroz con pollo made by Lisa Sandler, a nice Jewish mom. made the most delicious arroz con pollo. And she made maduros as well. It was so delicious. And Susan Campanero was supposed to come out, but her flight got delayed because the pilot was not vaccinated. You see the problems can you believe that? And a flight got delayed by 7 hours. So she couldn't come out. And instead, she called Lavinia, and Lavinia made a video for Catherine. So we were watching Lavinia while eating our arroz con pollo.
Oh, that makes sense.
So that's what that was.
Lavinia was able to do a show on video. That's good.
I know. Now let me tell you about this special thing happening, and we need you to send in. Eddie, you got your aprons now. You have to send in some pics. So we are doing a calendar, our aprons only calendar. Look at Leo, because Leo's excited because he's going to do the photo.
I have a new model in mind.
Yes, I bet. So if you have the apron and you would like to take a picture of yourself with just the apron, Michael Vaccaro started all this a couple of months back when he took a picture of himself just in the apron. And then Wilty and Hall followed suit. And now I have lots of people taking apron-only pictures and sending them. We're going to do a calendar for 2022. So Leo will be the photo editor. That's all I'm going to say. Get me those pictures ASAP.
It might have to be a weekly calendar, the way that we're getting submissions.
Oh, my God. Look at this Eddie Says picture. Coming soon, Eddie. We're waiting with bated breath.
Hubba.
All right. So what do we got for time here? It is now 9:09. Okay. So tonight, our guests are Anthony Barile. We had him on a few weeks ago, but we're bringing him back on because he's in an amazing play that is opening at Theater for the New City. And we got lucky enough to get Anthony and the playwright himself, Tony DiMurro. The play is 1-2-3 Manhunt. It is opening October 7th and playing through the 24th. So we're super excited to let you know about all this. And do we have the handsome and very Mets fan, Anthony Barile, in the green room? Anthony? Oh, there he is. Anthony.
I gotta look up baseball standings now while you're talking.
I know.
I want for a background.
No, but listen, usually when Anthony zooms in to do the baseball shows, he is in front of his Mets wall. But tonight he is in front of his curtains. Nice.
Yes.
Homey background. I like it, Anthony.
Well, we saved the Met room for our special baseball
baseball shows, which I love those shows.
Can't be beat.
No, you cannot be beat. Now, I want to get into this right away. Before COVID hit, you were rehearsing for a show that was supposed to open, and it was the show, right?
Yes. In fact, our first rehearsal was actually canceled because that's when it was the day New York City shut down, right after St. Patrick's Day.
Right.
So that was kind of a bummer, right?
Yeah, huge bummer.
Waited a long time for an opportunity to be back on stage again, acting. And of course, COVID hits, which shut everybody down, right? I mean, everything. Broadway was shut down. They were just reopened.
Andy Prasky's joined us, and as has Jay Rivera has joined us. Hi, guys. We're talking about 1-2-3 Manhunt, which is a new play opening at Theater for the New City, and Anthony Barile is in the show. So he's going to now, Anthony, so you said you shut down right before COVID. You didn't even get one rehearsal in, did you?
No, we did not. All right.
So when did you start rehearsing again?
We started rehearsing again after Labor Day, so about 2 or 3 weeks ago.
All right. So, and now you've been rehearsing, and it's close to opening a few weeks from now, right?
Yeah, our first show's a week from Thursday.
Wow.
First preview, yeah. The actual opening is a Sunday matinee, the 10th.
Okay, great. Oh, maybe I'll come to that.
It's exciting. You know how it goes, Maria.
I do, honey.
We're we're in the final stretch, and it's really coming along. Amazing how day to day you can make leaps and bounds.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you're an actor. That's how we met. We were both on a show together. But
yes.
One thing I can tell you about doing shows is I know I always panic, and I think, how is everything going to get done? And it's like you just said, kind of a day at a time. If everybody shows up and does their job,
Exactly.
and you show up. That's really what it is. If you do everybody comes in prepared and works hard. And how's the chemistry? How's the cast chemistry?
Well, the cast chemistry is it's great, really. So I'm working again. The lead in the piece is Santo Fazio, we've been friends for 35 years. He was my partner at Three of Cups restaurant. So,
I know that.
We did a show together. My God, 25 years ago, we did a play together called A Hatful of Rain, and we did it at the Actors Studio under the direction of Frank Casaro, which was really exciting for me.
Wow.
So I have the opportunity to be with Santo again on stage, and he is really a special talent.
Yeah.
He is.
You guys are like brothers, really.
Yeah. So the two characters are best friends.
Oh, great.
And the dynamics are, they're uncanny parallels in a lot of ways. So that chemistry is pretty natural. So that makes my job easier.
You said that. So Tony's going to join us soon. You said that.
Yeah, Tony DiMurro.
Yes. And thank you for getting a hold of him. How wonderful that you were able to do that. I'm so excited.
Oh, he's great. He appreciates the opportunity, as do I. We really do.
As do I.
Thank you.
I mean, this is so
but
great.
Thank you, though. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to talk about this show.
Well, when you were on when we did our baseball show, right? And you mentioned it, I said, right after that show, I said, Anthony, we got to get it in the books, because the thing about mentioning stuff is that people hear it, but I do the same thing. I don't always write it down. But if you remind me, as it gets closer, I will make it there. I'm not one of those. No,
people. You're the best. You're the best.
No, and I'm excited. I'm excited to see you back on stage. I know how great you are, and I also know your love of theater. Not everybody loves the grind of it. A lot of people are like, nah, I'd rather do TV. I'd rather do commercials, or I don't want to do that anymore. It's too tiring. But live stage work is a lot, and a certain kind of human being it takes to do that. So,
I guess so. I mean, yes, I have to say though, yeah, I do, and I enjoy it. It's I don't know. It's where I fit, I guess, most easily in the art of acting. No one was hard. I didn't. The community, you know what I mean? The theater community is it seems in my experience, a more loyal community.
That's interesting. Yeah, you're right.
So you make these connections.
Their reasons for being there are very different.
Oh, 100%. It's definitely love of the art.
Yes.
I mean, no one's getting rich. I mean, unless you have a very successful Broadway production.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like what we're doing right now, it's a labor of love.
Absolutely.
And it's a lot of hard work and a lot of hours. But for me, it's like, what a gift to have the opportunity to be able to do it. What better way to spend time and create.
I couldn't agree with you more, Anthony.
Yeah,
I mean, we're very similar in that way. It's funny. We've always talked. I always think that somehow we're related, because our parents are from the same part of Italy,
Well, look at us.
Yeah. I mean, really, right? We always joke around that we're related. Now, let me take a second. Dorothy Bishop has joined us. Hi, Dorothy. Glad to have you. She's a stage actress. Andy Praske. We love Andy Praske. And Andy wrote, we went to see Come From Away, which, by the way, I loved. Have you seen Come From Away, Anthony?
I have not.
You and Justine should go as like a present to yourselves. Last Wednesday, the audience applauded the cast for 3 minutes at the beginning of the show. It was very moving. You see, people are so grateful. Chris Thomas Vincent says, I can't wait to see 1, 2, 3 Manhunt. He's going to be there.
He's the best, too.
And he also says, Anthony bought up. We love Chris. Chris is my brother from another mother. Anthony bought a restaurant because of his love for theater. So, what do you say?
You know what? He's right.
Yeah.
Santo and I mean, that was, one of the premises was it might be easier to do acting gigs if we can just support each other instead of asking a boss, for this amount of time off. I did Tony and Tina's wedding. All roads lead to Tony and Tina's wedding.
Yeah.
right? We were doing 7 shows a week when I did the show.
Yeah.
And I owned the restaurant at that time.
I know.
You know, but I had the opportunity. So I just, you know, I'd work days, I'd work the nights where I wasn't doing a show.
I remember you coming in, Anthony, and talking about like you literally were coming in from the restaurant, talking about tables, you know, like you had a table for 10, a table, you know what I mean? Doing all that stuff. And then after the show, a lot of times people would go to you after the show back to your restaurant and hang out all night. Yeah,
it's true.
And I had been there many times. The food was delicious. Yeah. And I love the vibe. And, you know, it's like anything else, you know, things come to an end because they have to. Or
things change. The city changes. If you come to see the play, that is a hot topic of discussion within the play.
Right.
And you know, the theater that we're doing, it is Theater for the New City, is just 5 blocks north of 3 of Cups.
Wow.
It's on First Avenue and 10th Street, and we were on First and 5th.
Right. And
we used to send food there every Halloween. They have every Halloween. Theater for the New City has a big ball to raise money, a fundraiser, and they never forgot to ask me to send over some food.
Yeah, so, all right,
which is great. It was my pleasure, you know what I mean. But I would, you know.
And you did it. I mean, you were connected with them way back then. And did you have a relationship with them when you were sending food over?
No, it's just a neighborhood thing. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, no, I didn't even know who it was. Almost like faceless people.
So how long have you known Tony?
That's a good story. So Tony and I met in 1998, and he wrote another play that was produced downtown at the Latea Theater on Rivington Street. And I had the opportunity. I was cast in that play.
I think I came to that. What was the name of that show?
Mo Green Gets It in the Eye.
I saw that show. That was a great show.
It was. I loved it. Tony Patelis, Michael Buckley, Patrick Michael Buckley, and Matt Bonifacio. Again, all roads leading back to Tony and Tina's wedding. Were actors in the play that were also, you know,
that was
castmates in Tony and Tina's. So so Tony. And Tony would visit me at 3 of Cups, you know what I mean? He would pop in, and all the time over the years. And when we were closing, you know what I mean? And his wife, Julie, is she's a fantastic set designer.
Wow, really?
Oh, yeah, she's such a talent. And she created that set for Mo Green, and she's also doing the set now for us, which is phenomenal. For an off-Broadway, low budget.
How cool is that?
It's just such a gift. Yeah, so it's exciting, you know, we're getting there.
Okay.
So I know Tony a long time. Ace is top-notch human being, Tony DiMurro, and quite a talent. I have so much respect for him.
Okay, I'm getting a little message from him. He's about the StreamYard. I just want to resend it, so hang in there. Leo.
Yeah, sure.
In the green room. He's in the green room. It's all good.
So he's in the green room?
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, thank you, because something popped up. So his wife is a set designer. You see, I think it's always so important that the person that you're with understands, not just understands your love of and passion for these things, but also if they have the same passion for it. Like your wife, obviously, who's a friend of ours, she's a great actress. Mm-hmm. And it's just, you don't have to explain to them why you're doing what you're doing, why you love it, why it is a labor of love. They're in on it. You know, they get it. So they're in your corner. And so that's really, really, really cool. And now I read a little bit about the show, and that I don't want to give too much of it away because I want Tony to talk about it. But just about, like you talked about change, neighborhoods change. People change.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
You know, there's a push and pull all the time. You know, I mean, where I grew up in the north end of Boston, it was all Italians forever and ever and ever. And like any other neighborhood, corporations come in, they want to buy buildings out. The old Italians move out or die off. And then, you know, it's that bittersweet, but you have to, you know, we all have to kind of go with change. It's like anything else. What are you going to do? You can't, but you have feelings about it. Of course, we're all going to have feelings about it. And I think that that's what makes great great theater and playwriting is the feelings behind the action,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
So what can you tell us a little bit about your character, Anthony? Or without giving too much away?
I mean, so my character is best friends with the lead character, and he's really not, it's not a huge stretch. I know who these people are, you know what I mean? Grew up around these people that are depicted in this piece. So they're New Yorkers. That's one thing we can definitely say about them. These folks are from the Lower East Side of Manhattan, and they're Italian Americans, and you know there's a lot of similarities. Let's put it that way. So it wasn't a great stretch. I think Tony had me in mind, and also during the year off from, you know, due to COVID, after, you know, he introduced me to the director and the director hired me, pretty sure made some changes to bring it even closer to home, you know, but, you know, the circumstances, the stakes are high.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the stakes are high, and you know we've all been in high stakes situations. You know, but so it's, you know, it's about friendship. It's about friendship.
Show too, as well.
It definitely gets physical. It absolutely gets physical.
Because I
it's
saw
not
a little bit about
per
that
se.
as well.
Yeah, it's not violent per se, but I mean, these people, you know, they're not afraid to have their primal instincts, you know, reveal themselves.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it.
Yeah, so they don't filter that. They don't edit that. They, you know, they get in touch with it and let it go.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, so there's definitely physicality in the show. There's definitely, you know, could be as like, wow, that's a little violent.
Yeah, well, we're definitely going to get there. I mean, I know our Tony and Tina family will definitely be out there to support you. And I probably will end up coming to the Sunday show, or maybe I'm going to look at the whole schedule. But Mandar has joined us. You know, he's a supporter of the arts. Mandar Chick Magnet. Chris will definitely be there. And I also remember when Chris was doing lots of times with his movie, he showed it down there. That Lower East Side, it's just so rich in that. It's like, it's funny, no matter how gentrified it becomes, there's always so much theater down there.
There will definitely be, hopefully that continues.
I think so. I can't imagine.
No, I understand. It gets harder and harder, though. You know what I mean? Well, Theater for the New City, they're a nonprofit, so
yeah,
they're protected in a way from funding with the city.
But I know that so many things down there were teetering, but I feel like for some reason it's like even things hanging on by a thread kind of made it through. They made it through COVID when it comes to theater, and I'm so
honestly, our government did help us. I mean, Chuck Schumer's, you know, campaign and to spearhead the Save Our Stages program. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you watched the Tonys the other night, you know, it was brought up. You know what I mean? How the funding that was raised from that and legislation that passed to fund stages. I mean, I still know a lot of people, right, that are in the bar, the restaurant, the theater, you know, business from Three of Cups, right? I know a lot of people who were able to secure funding, and that's the only way they made it through the COVID lockdown.
Absolutely, but you know what? Where there is theater, everyone thrives because the restaurants around it thrive. Of course, yeah. People go, the bars, housing. I mean, this year, without having tourists come in too, it's been really hard. But now people are coming back, and people are coming in from Jersey. They're coming in from Long Island. You know, even the locals. But even they were staying away, and now I just feel like, what I find, because I work in the nightclubs, you know, and people are so excited to be back. they're so excited for live entertainment, you know,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I think there's a whole new appreciation for it as well.
Yes, I hope so.
Well, I think if he is in the green room, this would be a perfect time to bring Tony.
Let's bring him in.
Let's bring him on.
Here he is.
Hi,
There's
Tony.
my friend. What a guy.
Hello.
Tony DiMurro, nice to meet you, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear
Yes.
us?
Yes, I can. Very well,
Okay.
very well. I had a little trouble getting in because I had to download Chrome, but
Oh boy.
I was able to do it, and I was lucky enough to log on while Anthony was speaking, and he was saying some very nice things about me and my wife, who will appreciate it because she's only a set designer under protest. I have
Really?
to really pull in all the husband cards.
How'd you get her to do it, Tony? What was the final, like, okay, I'll do this if you do it?
I'll tell you how. Is I
Please.
committed her before I told her.
Oh,
It's a terrible thing to do.
yeah.
And I don't recommend it. But, you know, it's interesting. I said this to the stage manager yesterday. Letting go of a play, I think is more difficult than letting go of a child.
Mm.
And the reason I believe that is because if letting go of a child was this difficult, people would stop doing it.
And
So
Tony, explain to people what you mean by that, because there are people that listen to the show
Sure.
that are not writers, or they're not, you know, I'm a songwriter, so I understand, and you know, in that way. But explain to people what you mean by letting go.
well, once you hand the play over to the director, it's really in the hands of him and the actors.
Okay.
And so and it's interesting too, is I don't really love the rehearsal process because no one comes to my studio and watches my process while I work. And I really do subscribe to the David Mamet school, where I think I've done all the work. There's nothing.
Right.
There's nothing for anyone else to do. I've done it, which is not true. And so by having my wife do the set, I know that I can count on her to give me what the show needs, not what a set designer would want. And so it's almost one less thing to worry about. And just very quickly to end this subject, she's designed the sets to two of my shows, and both shows she has gotten rave reviews. In fact, theater. We used to have these great periodicals in New York, like Theater Week and In Theater, and I believe it was one of those two. I don't know if it was Mo Green or Coyote Bleed said, but the real star of the show was the set designer, Julie Melton. She was using her. So she does very well in it. So I'm grateful for that. There's no nepotism involved, if that's the right word.
Yeah.
And I'd just like to say this too. I did have, I'm not arrogant enough to say, oh, I wrote this part for someone. That's just not the way it works in my head.
Mm-hmm.
But Anthony was definitely the person I thought of. And I was able to even curate some of the material around him and his wonderful business, Three of Cups.
Wow.
And make some references to the neighborhood right next to it. Like we mentioned, Village Views, the housing development right across the street. We mentioned the Hamilton Fish Library, things that were in his orbit, because I was thinking of him certainly at a certain point.
Yeah. And the thing about, you know, like our bodies memorize days. That's how I look at it. There are certain days in my life where, even if it was 10 years ago, 15 years, whatever, that my body memorizes the way I felt on that day. And I see certain storefronts, I see, you know, subway stations. And if you can use things like that to evoke people's memory of that neighborhood by mentioning those places, I think it pulls us all back to that, you know? And
Well, I think that's fabulous.
I mean, for me, it does.
Stanislavski, and now we're getting real heady.
No, I love this stuff. Please, I love it.
I think the best book I ever read on writing is the acting book by Stanislavski, An Actor Prepares.
Mm-hmm.
He talks about that, about the given circumstances, about what are the given circumstances, aka or i.e. context.
Right.
That's one of the things I think. I mean, I don't want to try and extrapolate like into a real world, but one of the things that society lacks today is context. Everything is like, oh, he said, no one is surprised and everyone is shocked. And so I think what I like about doing that is giving the people, both the audience, because it's the audience who informs your play.
Mm-hmm.
What I say the play is not necessarily what the play is. It's just what it is in my head. And in fact, It's interesting to just mention, I logged on and you were asking Anthony about his character. I think of Frankie as the sergeant of the search party. He's the sergeant. Millie's the point man. He's the sergeant. He's the one that is really marshaling up the muscle to go forward to find this guy, because that's what initially attracted me to the director. When we did this play at the Actors Studio, of course, everybody was, full of their opinions because it's the Actors Studio. I mean, the reading there. But Bill immediately said, no, I get this play. It's No Man Left Behind.
Wow.
Immediately, I got it. Like, these guys might not have seen him in a year, maybe, give or take, but having grown up with each other means they're friends for life. And they will, at midnight, get the call, say, Alex is missing. Come on, we got to go find Alex. And, it's just no man is left behind. And they come and find this guy. They come and rescue him. And then that's where the tension starts, because you don't want to go home.
Right. Well, what you just said is, I think, what every creative person's dream is, to have someone that gets what you were trying to do.
Yeah, of course.
And gets what you were trying to say. It's always like you have that moment where you're like, exactly, that's it. That's what I was trying to say. And instead of the labor of trying to explain to someone, it's like, it's too late. It's like, but I did want to take a moment. So that's why I love that what you just told that story about the director. Liz Goldenberg, who's a friend of ours and also a huge supporter of the art, said, I wasn't prepared for the emotional reaction I had when I went to my first pandemic show last week. So, people are really ready to get back and have that experience. And Andy Pratsky says, Arthur Penn, a stage director, also directed some great films like The Miracle Worker and Alice's Restaurant, once said to me, you never finish a project, you simply abandon it. So it was kind of what you were talking about in the beginning there, Tony, and handing it over to someone else, I always love when people say, like if there's a song or something that I've written and people go, what's it about? And I said, well, you tell me. You're going to sing it. You tell me what it's about. Like, it's going to be, people are going to have their feelings about things, but I do think it's, like you said about the experience of watching a rehearsal. Do you find that if you are watching a rehearsal that you sometimes that you want to pipe in and say something like, no, that's not it? Anthony's laughing. Anthony,
yeah, it's excruciating. It's excruciating. Because I just, quite frankly, I'm not interested in the subfloor. I'm just not, or I would be an actor. I was an actor. I started as an actor. It's too brutal. It's brutal.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, and that doesn't mean it's not worthy. It just means that's not, and you have to let the actor discover it for himself. So it's ground in that organic reality. And someone mentioned Arthur Penn, because here come the references now. Arthur Penn once said something that's the best thing I ever heard about rehearsal. He said, I don't want actors to come to rehearsal to work on things. I want actors to come to rehearsal to show me what they worked on the night before. And that describes Anthony. Anthony comes with material he already had in his bag. Which is wonderful for the other actors also. And, you talked about this thing about, well, what's the song about? Edward Albee again. And, someone said to me, well, if you were Edward Albee, you could say that to people, but you're not. And he's right. But Edward Albee said, if I could describe my play in one sentence, I'd write a one-sentence play, and I completely get that.
Yeah.
As far as this pandemic, I hate to say that there was something good that came out of it, because first of all, we're not even done with it yet. But one of the co-leads was just he was already a Chinese American teenager before the pandemic, and so during the pandemic, we were able to rewrite his character. See, when we had if you don't mind, I'll just tell this real quick.
No, please.
When we had the reading at the studio. Thank you. The best piece of feedback I got was from Lyle Kessler, a great playwright himself. He said, look, your problem is dramaturgical. You need to beef up the young kid more so we identify him at the end of the show when everything goes down. And so I thought, he's right. And the pandemic, the backlash of Asian American hatred and discrimination allowed me to make that character much deeper. It allowed us the opportunity to make him, to give him more of a reason to rebel. Like the pandemic allowed this kid, and he's a kid, to become more radicalized and to do something really drastic because of one of the major reasons, because of now the way he's now being treated in school.
Right.
He's being ostracized in school and made fun of and excluded. And he kind of, in a way, takes it out on his parents. It's their fault.
Well, it's displaced anger. Yeah. It's displaced anger. So, and a kid, because I worked with kids for many years of that age, would not have the wherewithal to understand that. It just has this rage or energy. And usually that's what they always mean by you always hurt the ones you love. It's really because they're close. They're right there, and you have your feelings about certain things, Okay, let's remind people, because some people might have popped on while we were talking, and I want to remind people the show that we're talking about is called 1, 2, 3 Manhunt. It's by Tony DiMurro, and who we are lucky enough to have on tonight, and Anthony Barile, who's been a friend of mine for many years, over 25 years, is one of the actors in the show. And you guys want to talk about some of the other actors in the show so that we can just tell people who they are?
I would love to.
Go ahead.
The lead is Santo Fazio, who's a very good friend of, I assume, everyone here. He's been just fabulous. And Chris Paul Morales, this is his first, I believe, stage production. He plays the young Chinese teenager. And Eileen Kristen, who's just, she's just a fireball. She's kind of a star.
And she's an Emmy winner.
Yes.
She's a soap actress and stage actress, and a lot of people know her. You see her face and you're like, I know her. Go ahead, Leo, please.
Right. She's soap royalty.
She's soap
royalty, he says. And
I've discovered that. It's unbelievable. And it's interesting. Anthony is was very integral in the casting of the show because he was the one who, because I had sent this to Anthony pretty much right away. I said, look, we're getting this together. Here's a role I think that you'd be good for. I want you to meet the director. And when he read it, he was like, look, we gotta, I've worked with Santo at the studio. I think that this is for him. And I was like, yeah, of course, that'd be wonderful. So Anthony was very responsible for instigating that. And Bill, the director, knew Eileen. And again, I was fortunate in that these people said yes right away. So
Wow.
they had the script for a while. You know, the rehearsal today was just fabulous. I hope I'm not jinxing anything. But I was kind of in the hallway listening by the door like an expectant father in the maternity ward because it sounded so good. And right, Mamet said that every great play is a radio play. So I'm listening to it and it sounds great. So there's no way I'm going to go in. No way. And so I stayed in the hall the entire rehearsal.
That's great.
No way I was going to go in. And things were really good today. So I'm knocking wood.
Yeah, that's right. And I love that every great play is a radio play.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
I think that makes sense too.
Totally.
Right.
But you know, it's that whole waiting in the wings thing, or if you're out in the hallway and you hear something, that's one of the reasons I actually love podcasts, because I feel transported. Sometimes it's almost better when I can't see who's talking. So I can just really let go and listen, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So you guys, Anthony, you said that it's a week from this Thursday, right?
Week from this Thursday, our first preview on October 7th. We're going to run Thursdays through Sundays.
Okay.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 8 o'clock, Sundays at 3 for 3 weeks through the 27th.
All right. And
24th, I should say.
And Leo has just scrolled how we get tickets there. It's Theater for the New City. And there's all
Their
your
website.
information. If you're old school and you want to call, so anyway, it's on 155 First Avenue. If you're old school, you want to call, it's 212-254-1109 is the number. And everybody knows what Theater for the New City is. I mean, how many times have we passed it? A million times. It's storied. And people are having very different reactions. Like Liz Goldenberg was saying, people are having different reactions to being in a theater again. It's weird. It was about 17 months, I think, that they were dark. But you know, it's that old saying that you don't always know what you have until you lose it. And I think people were like, oh no, we can't lose this. New York it's built on this. That's why people come here, you know, for all of it. And it's just there's so much beauty in the city and grittiness. And this is going to be a great way to just relaunch the Lower East Side and all that great acting. Go ahead, Anthony.
You know, I've said this for years, actually. You know, owning 3 of Cuffs and the gentrification that took place that eventually pushed me out of there. And New York City, in my opinion, was becoming very strip mallish. You know what I mean? Like the Dwayne Reeds and so everywhere. You know, it was, you know, because I've been in New York City since the early 80s, you know, and it was like so unique and so full of soul, the little clothing stores and the little record shops and all these little places. So you could be anywhere, you know, you could be in Michigan and because what makes New York City, hands down, is theater and Central Park. Central Park. Yeah, it's true. Central Park. It's true.
My wife would agree.
And theater, because that you cannot replicate. I don't care, Los Angeles, Chicago, I don't care. No, it's Broadway.
Yeah.
It's Broadway, and it's those little theaters on the Lower East Side and in Soho and the West.
And those moments that happen in the dark, where it's just you and whatever you're watching, and
it's
that
so intimate,
and what happens in your brain. You know, like when you talked about Mo Green, which, by the way, I didn't realize that was you, Tony, until Anthony reminded me. I saw that show many years ago. I still remember it. So my brain photographed it and remembered moments from it. I remember you guys sitting around that table in the club, you know, like in the men's club. Like I have a certain reaction when I remember that. You know, like these cellular reactions that happen in our bodies when we see theater, we remember it and we store it for another experience. And I could walk by somewhere and be reminded of that show. You know, so that's what I love about theater. Like when I saw Come From Away. I mean, I remember there were these 3 guys standing up, very, very like burly guys, standing up. They were from Canada and their wives had dragged them to see the show. And they were bitching about how they didn't want to be there. I can't believe I just did it because she wanted me to do it. They were the first ones at the end of the show that literally jolted up and were clapping because they were so moved by what they saw. And I feel like as a person sitting behind them, that moved me because I thought they didn't want to be here, but it got them anyway, you know? And that's what I love. That's the beauty of theater, I think, that it gets you anyway, whether you want it or not.
Right. It's an experience that no other medium can replicate. Even like during the pandemic, you know, a lot of people did stuff on Zoom, and I think to myself, by definition, it's not theater. Mm-hmm. By definition, you know. So, but I know people still wanted to connect,
right?
But it's still not theater. It's just not, you know. And the thing you said about, first of all, and before I forget, thank you very much for your kind words about Mo Green.
Oh no, I loved it.
I appreciate that. You know, the thing about the arts that you mentioned, you were also talking about it when I first logged in, is the economic impact of theater and the arts in general is massive. You know, every city. When I was at NYU, I did an internship at the Department of Cultural Affairs. And this was like, I don't even want to say when it was, I'll date myself. But even back then, it was enormous, the amount of money that theater brought into New York City. And the thing is, every city's dream is to promote tourism because it's simply, even Athens, Ohio wants to promote tourism because I just picked that because one time they did one in my place. But what theater does is it brings people with their money into a neighborhood that they ordinarily would not bring it, and they leave it there.
Yep.
So it's basically tourism is the importation of money.
Yeah.
And so every city's dream is to. So I don't understand why it's not more.
But it's
subsidized.
also the importation of love.
Ooh,
love for that city.
Right.
Where normally,
like London, right.
Right. So it's like, and I'm going back there. We had such an amazing experience. Right. They spend their money and then they say, we're going to come back next year. Or you know what? I'm going back there. It changes people too. Andy says, for me, movies are all about the suspension of disbelief, so anything can happen. But theater is an intimate venue that portrays real and intimate feelings. Thank you, Andy Prasky.
That's great.
I agree.
Now, yeah.
Listen, we got to take a second because I got to do the food section of our show. Every week, I can't just expect creative people to come on and pour their hearts out if I do not do something creative myself. It's not fair. I can't phone it in. So I cook every week, and this week I made.
Go ahead.
We have to do. It's called Go Ahead, Keep Eating. So on the count of three, everybody's going to say it. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Go ahead.
Go ahead, keep eating.
Keep eating. Beautiful. Very nice line read there, Tony.
He's a pro.
Yeah, he's a pro. I can see that.
He's a pro.
That's why you hang out with him. So what did I make tonight? We're not quite in fall as far as I'm concerned till the leaves turn, but it's officially fall. So I made butternut squash ravioli with a pesto, garlic butter cream sauce with peas and mushrooms. A little bit of truffle oil in the mushrooms there, Anthony. That's for you.
How you doing?
And there's a little sprinkling of cheese there. For my salad, I always say, thank God I like salads, or I'd be 400 pounds, but I do eat my salads every day. So this is red leaf lettuce with some chopped up fresh mozzarella, baby ripe vine tomatoes, and Sicilian olives. Smell it, Anthony. Wow. Smell it.
Bring it over.
I know. And then for dessert, which for a couple of weeks there I was on the keto, no dessert, but I'm enjoying myself this week. So I got carrot cake. I didn't make this, I bought it. But carrot cake. Isn't that lovely?
Oh, yeah.
So that's our dinner for tonight. I will be enjoying that all by myself, which I'm fine with. So, okay. So, when you were talking, Tony, about the coming in of money, this is what I saw in my head. There's this thing in Port Authority. It's like this kind of machine, a piece of art that's behind glass. That's like, you drop the ball in and it rolls to the end and then it goes here and it starts something else moving, which it's like this piece of art that gets all these pieces moving because of one thing that started. And that is how I think about New York and theater and tourism. It's like, that's why, like, when everything was dried up, there was nothing happening. But as soon as like that little few drops in that, and that machine starts to move again, you know, shows are opening up. That means the restaurants, that means the
Right.
piano bars that I work in, people love to come after they see a show. And then we're entertaining them. And then after that, they're going to the diners to get some breakfast, you know, and it just goes on and on and on. But I have so many friends and customers that come from other cities to see shows, and then they come to see us. And they've been all year, we've been in touch because they miss New York, and everybody's all said, so what's going on? What do you think? Is it coming back? And, you know, Lynn Portis and I, was a friend of Anthony's as well. We wrote a song called Hiding in a Ghost Town. This was during the pandemic because that's what I felt like. But I knew that it was, as soon as we started that one drop, a few more drops, that machine is going to be oiled again. Except I think we're here with new eyes and new ears and a whole new appreciation.
No, I hope, yeah.
Yeah. So far, I mean, when are you? I mean, people haven't seen it yet. So far, you're feeling good about it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Just, you know, it's a privilege to be able to work in theater. And, you know, it's funny with your food segment. I told Anthony about the story. There was one time, because I lived on the Lower East Side for many years, and I went to the community. You know, remember this? And I told you this the other day. Anthony is so perfect for this role because I told him the story, and I'm sure he didn't remember it. He might remember it after I told him, but I went to the community board meeting. Don't ask me why. But it turned out that night Anthony was there because he needed a permit to do. No, he was getting his alcohol, his license renewed. Right. So he was putting his permit in front of the community board. And I'll never forget, he was all dressed up like a construction worker, and he was all dusty from work. And I said, Anthony, what are you doing? He said, no, I'm doing some work in my restaurant. I'm here to, you know, reapply for my liquor license. And you know, and I remember, in fact, I remember the woman's name. The woman who was the head of the board was Lisa Ramachi. I can't believe I'm remembering this name now. And it was all very favorable because they, you know, understandably liked him so much. She said to him, now I want to talk to you about putting pineapple on pizza. And he turned to her and he said, you stick to politics, I'll stick to food. Here's my application. And when we were going over the show, I said to him, there's a line in the show where he just says, I'll try. And the woman says to him, don't go off track, Frankie. And he says, I'll try. And I said, it's exactly like you gave that line to Lisa Ramachi. Right. It's like, you stick to your side of the street and I'll stick to mine. And you pick right up without ever taking another breath. So I don't know what it has to do with anything, but I wanted to tell that story because he's perfect for the role.
Yeah, no, I love it.
With his Yankee hat and his big head.
I'm looking forward, very, very much looking forward to it. So we want to, let me see if anybody else has popped on while we're running our show. We have our regulars, Rena Crinelli-Bergi, my cousin from Massachusetts, has joined us, and she says, "Come, go ahead, keep eating." And we got also Vincenzo D'Amato. Hello, Maria. Good job. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We hope that we bring you interesting things every week, and I feel like we do. And we have amazing guests. And Anthony's a long time friend of mine. We brought on Tony DiMurro tonight, who is the playwright for 123 Manhunt, which is opening at the new Theater for the New City, and that is October 7th through the 24th. And what time of the show? 7 o'clock? 8 o'clock?
8 o'clock. 8 o'clock. And on Sunday at 3.
Sundays at 3. Okay, great. So, you know, support your neighborhoods. Go and get something to eat before you go to the show or after the show. And, you know, on Sundays it's going to be easier to find parking. But I love the Lower East Side. I think there's nothing like it. And Anthony, what you were talking about with the Dwayne Reeds and all that stuff, like that's something that was never New York.
Right.
Mom and pop shops were all about New York. And I remember you telling me a story right after Three of Cups closed. And you said, it used to be that like the family across the street would come and to eat, like the 6 of them would come in, or I knew everybody, and things started to change that family could no longer afford to go out to eat.
Right.
You said that, and that stayed with me. That stayed with me.
Right. Yeah. Do you have
Right?
a minute for that? Because that's a
Yes,
fantastic
please.
thought
Yes,
about
please.
what's going on and kind of a theme in this play. And because of gentrification and the way things are changing, and it's New York City becoming really a rich man's playground.
Mm-hmm.
And these folks, and we talk about the housing development in the piece. Tony wrote the village views into the play, and so this is not a it's not a project. It's a middle income housing.
Right?
So it's just it's a lottery. You get on. So these people they're plumbers and carpenters and Con Edison workers and whatever, small business owners, whatever they are. They're just middle class folks.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been my customers for many years. And they would come to me for family occasions. A kid made a communion or graduated grade school or whatever. They had a place to come.
Right.
And they could, because we were affordable, right? I kept my prices at a certain place. My rent was at a place where I can keep those prices there. And I'm thinking to myself, where are they going to go? How could they go out? I can't afford to go out.
I chills because I remember you telling me that story.
Yeah, because it broke my heart. Because they didn't know yet. I knew this was coming to a close. And it was one of those Sunday afternoons. And I had known this family for 20 years, and they'd had every occasion at my place. Multiple families like that. But I'm looking at these folks, and I'm saying, how are they going to go out to celebrate their kids' events?
Right,
because, you know what I mean? You're going to pay $15, which is still not cheap for a bowl of pasta or a plate of food at my place. You're going to pay $25, $30 to double that somewhere.
Yeah.
So how do you do that? You can have a beer for $5 or a soda for $2.
I know.
How are you going to go from paying, you know what I mean? How could you do it? And it's just a shame. It really is a shame. And I don't know.
It changes the whole dynamic of everything.
There's a great book, and it's called Eviction. Everybody Google it, look it up. Eviction. Yeah.
Okay.
And it was written at least 10 or 15 years ago.
Well,
and it's about the United States as a whole.
I love it. And I will look it up and I will read it. Okay, so we're at the end of our show. I want to remind everybody, 123 Manhunt is playing at Theater for the New City, October 7th through the 24th. 8 o'clock for the night shows, 3 o'clock for the Sunday shows. Please go and check it out. Go on the website. And we want to thank you guys for being here. We want to thank Anthony Barile, Tony DiMurro. I want to thank my buddy Leo Rodriguez, because without Leo, I don't know what I do. Leo, pop on and join us. Okay, so I just Anthony Barile, what do you want to leave the people with?
I want to leave the people with how much I love you. You're the best. You really are, Maria.
Honey.
You really are. Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for shining a light.
Shining
a light on you know what I mean, the community that we're a part of and needs our support, and New York City needs, and just all the time you're the best.
Oh, I love you, honey. Thank you so much. And Tony, thank you for being on our show. It was so nice to have you. And what would you like to leave the audience with? I would like to please come to see the show. And I'd like and you could tell I'll probably be there every performance. And if you don't like it, you can tell me. I might make changes. But thank you for this opportunity. It was wonderful to speak with you. And my pleasure. And thank you, Leo. And please come back, everybody, our listeners and viewers. If you want to go to YouTube and watch all our shows, this is episode, I think, 214, right, Leo? 215, I believe. 15, okay. Good number. And we're on. You can go to What's the Story with Maria on YouTube, and all our shows are archived. But anyway, we love and appreciate you. We will see you next week. Come back every Tuesday at 9. Thank you, Leo. Thank you, Leo. Thank you, Leo. Thank you.
Thank you,
guys make me
Maria.
want to act again.
To I am.